3 men traveled across deserts and mountains, guided by a light in the sky. They carried gifts, wisdom, and questions. The Bible calls them Magi. History calls them mysterious. Who were they? And what did they see that made them journey to a small town in Judea? This story explores the Magi's origins, their understanding of a coming king, and the meaning of their journey and gifts. The Magi may have been descendants of Daniel's school, trained in the study of the heavens and the interpretation of signs. Daniel served in Babylon, guiding kings and interpreting dreams that shaped empires. Daniel's wisdom earned the respect of Nebuchadnezzar, as recorded in Daniel 2:47. The king answered Daniel and said, "Truly, your God is God of gods and Lord of kings and a revealer of mysteries." This acknowledgement came because Daniel connected visions, symbols, and heavenly signs to events on earth. His expertise in astronomy, astrology, and spiritual discernment created a legacy of careful observation of the heavens. Daniel's influence extended beyond his lifetime. He trained students who studied the movements of the stars, the planets, and other celestial phenomena, seeking patterns that reveal authority and destiny. These were not ordinary astrologers. They were scholars who combined rigorous observation with spiritual insight. The Magi, coming from the east, inherited this knowledge. They recognized unusual movements in the heavens and understood that a particular star indicated the arrival of a significant ruler. Daniel 9 provides insight into this type of understanding. 70 weeks are decreed about your people and your holy city to finish transgression, to put an end to sin, and to atone for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal both vision and prophet, and to anoint a most holy place. Daniel 9:24. They studied patterns linking heavenly signs to earthly events. When they saw a star behaving in a way no ordinary star would, they knew it marked a king whose arrival demanded attention. Their expertise connected the past with the present. Daniel's wisdom had prepared them to read the heavens, understand timing, and recognize a moment that would change history. The Magi followed a star signaling authority. Their training, inherited from Daniel's school, allowed them to interpret the heavens in ways ordinary observers could not. They recognized patterns that announced rulers, shifts in kingdoms, and pivotal events. Matthew 2:2 captures their words. "We have seen his star in the east and have come to worship him." Their journey was not guided by curiosity alone. They understood that this particular star was a marker of a king, a ruler whose arrival would impact nations. The Magi combined observation with ancient records, both in scripture and in other writings from Babylonian and Persian traditions, noting that unusual signs in the sky often heralded the rise of a great leader. The Magi also recognized the fulfillment of long-held expectations. Daniel 9:25 speaks of the timing of the Messiah's arrival, from the issuing of the decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. It shall be built again, with plaza and moat, but in a troubled time. Though centuries had passed, the Magi were attuned to these cycles. They understood that the heavens often mirrored history on earth, and that extraordinary celestial movements corresponded to extraordinary events. Their journey reflects the wisdom of careful watchers, scholars and observers who knew when a star marks a king, not a common traveler. Every mile they crossed brought them closer to a child who would fulfill patterns long set in motion by God, confirming the alignment of heaven and earth. The Magi did not rely solely on scripture. Their world was filled with ancient records, astronomical charts, and writings of kings and sages that spoke of a coming ruler from the west. Babylonian, Persian, and Chaldean scholars recorded patterns in the heavens, interpreting comets, planetary alignments, and unusual celestial events as messages from the heavens. Many of these writings described the rise of a great king who would change the course of nations, bringing either prosperity or judgment depending on recognition of his authority. These ancient sources often aligned with themes found in Daniel and other biblical texts. Scholars noted that rulers' births and the rise of empires were frequently accompanied by unusual stars or omens, signaling the importance of those events. The Magi studied these signs with a trained eye. They recognized that the unusual star appearing in the east was not just an isolated event. It fit the larger pattern they had studied for years, a convergence of heavenly signs and historical expectation pointing to a singular moment. Matthew 2:9-10 describes the star's guidance. The star, which they had seen in the east, went before them until it came to rest over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. This moment was the culmination of centuries of observation, study, and careful interpretation. The Magi followed a signal that aligned with ancient expectations, bridging human knowledge and heavenly revelation. Their journey shows that wisdom often combines multiple sources, scripture, historical records, and attentive observation of the natural world, to recognize extraordinary events and respond accordingly. The Magi arrived with treasures in hand, each gift carrying layers of meaning. Their offerings were not random. They were a language of recognition, speaking of identity, purpose, and destiny. Gold acknowledged kingship and authority. In Matthew 2:11, the text describes, "And when they had opened their treasures, they presented gifts to him, gold, frankincense, and myrrh." Gold signified that this child was a ruler, worthy of honor by the greatest in the world. It was a material acknowledgement of authority, fitting for one whose kingdom would endure and whose rule would impact nations far beyond Bethlehem. Frankincense symbolized worship and priesthood. Its fragrant smoke rose in temples and sacred spaces, connecting heaven and earth. By offering frankincense, the Magi recognized Jesus not only as a king, but also as one who mediates between God and humanity, a figure set apart for holy purposes. Myrrh foreshadowed mortality and suffering. This resin, often used in embalming, reminded those who presented it that the path of this child would involve sacrifice. Even in celebration of his birth, they acknowledged the trials that lay ahead, a life marked by both purpose and endurance. Together, these gifts formed a silent declaration. He is king, he is priest, and he is servant. The journey of the Magi, the gifts they brought, and the star that guided them all follow patterns seen throughout Scripture. In Isaiah 66, the prophet writes, "All those from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and frankincense, and shall bring good news of the praises of the Lord." Centuries later, this vision came to life in the Magi, confirming that the movements of heaven and the actions of wise observers intersect to honor pivotal moments in history. Their gifts were more than material treasures. They were statements of recognition, reverence, and insight into a life that would change the world. The Magi's journey was more than a physical trek across deserts and mountains. It followed patterns that appear repeatedly in Scripture and sacred history. Their path began in the east, where knowledge of the heavens was cultivated. Stars guided rulers, warned nations, and signaled significant events. The Magi, trained to read these signs, recognized the arrival of a king. Their route mirrors ancient patterns, observers noticing a signal, following it across long distances, and presenting gifts to acknowledge authority. These journeys were never random. They connected celestial signs, historical timing, and human action, forming a rhythm that Scripture consistently highlights. In Numbers 24:17, Balaam foretold, "A star shall come out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel." This star was a marker, a celestial pointer to authority, signaling that an event of monumental significance was unfolding. The Magi's careful observation, combined with their understanding of signs and timing, allowed them to interpret this movement and act on it. Their arrival in Jerusalem brought them to the seat of earthly power, and their inquiry led them to a humble town in Judea. The convergence of star, gifts, and worship reflects a pattern of heaven and earth intersecting, revealing how extraordinary events often unfold with both guidance and human participation. Even in their joy, the Magi demonstrate a principle seen throughout history. God uses watchers, observers, and travelers to recognize and respond to moments that shape the course of nations. Their journey reveals a rhythm that repeats across Scripture. Heaven signals, humans respond, and pivotal events are marked with attention, reverence, and action. The Magi were more than travelers. They were scholars, stargazers, and seekers of truth. Their eyes scanned the heavens, their minds studied ancient texts, and their hearts recognized significance where others saw only light in the sky. They followed a star that led them to a small town, guided them to a child, and revealed a story centuries in the making. Their gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh, spoke of kingship, worship, and sacrifice, acknowledging the full scope of the child's life and mission. Their journey mirrors patterns woven throughout Scripture, celestial signs announcing rulers, devoted observers responding, and extraordinary events marking the course of history. Through their actions, the night sky became a language, one that transcended cultures, generations, and empires. Christmas, through the eyes of the Magi, is more than a birth celebrated once a year. It is a story of careful watchfulness, understanding, and recognition of what shapes the world. The heavens spoke, they listened, and they acted. The Magi remind us that the extraordinary is often revealed to those who look, study, and journey with purpose. The Christmas story, seen through their eyes, is a story of light in the darkness, guidance for the faithful, and a king whose presence alters history forever. For more insights into Scripture, ancient mysteries, and signs in history, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This is Signs and Wonders, uncovering the patterns that shape history and illuminate the night sky.